Good evening, it's Brian here at Fitzpatrick's Garage, Dublin Road, Kildare. I want to show you this car here. This is a Honda Jazz 1.3 and this is what's called an ES model.
Brian is my name. If there's any information you want on this particular car, call, text, WhatsApp, whatever suits, 086 843 1945.
So if you're curious about what your car is worth, or if you're curious about what the monthly payments could possibly look like, just give me a shout and I'll be happy to go through it with you. We are a main Honda, Hyundai and Mercedes-Benz agent here in Kildare town. It's actually a family-run business in operation for almost 70 years. So what we're going to do in this video is we're going to have a look around the features on the outside of the car, and we're going to go for a drive in the car, and then we're going to see what's on the inside. So this car was actually part of our own fleet and it's now for sale at a discounted price. First of all, the colour car on the outside is what's called Milano Red,
which is always a smart colour in Hondas. It's a colour that's out for years and years and years, since the 80s in Hondas, and it always looks really, really fresh.
So specifically on the front of this car, nice features are, it's an ES model, so it gets parking sensors on the front. Down through here, you got these smart daytime running lamps. And this actual model of Jazz is a facelift from 2018, so it's a much more aggressive front bumper. Along the front then, the headlights mimic and kind of match the shape on the chrome areas on the grille, and the headlights are actually automated.
So yes, they come on at night time, lots of cars do that, but these actually auto dip, so when you meet traffic they dip, and when you go into an unlit area they go full.
One thing that always stands out to me on these engines is they're so quiet. It's one of those cars that I've so often seen people
get into the car, it's actually running, and they try to start it. Now cars don't do that anymore these days, which is great. It's a really quiet engine overall.
And you see when you go for a drive, it's an eager engine actually. There's 100 horsepower in that engine. To put that into perspective, cars like say i20s and Polos and Fiestas and things like that, so many cars in this segment, they're usually in the region of about 75 horsepower. So this is a quick little car. And road tax for the year is €200, and in terms of fuel efficiency, they normally average in the region of about 5.5 to 6 litres per 100 kilometres, which is in the region of 45 to 50 miles per gallon if you're a bit old school like me. Other things we're talking about on the front of the car, it actually has collision mitigation up through here and automatic wipers.
So the wipers come on when it rains, and the collision mitigation under 32 kilometres an hour. If you don't hit the brakes, this car is going to try and stop you hitting something.
Moving on down the side of the car then, we have a 15-inch nice light alloy wheel set, and everything is colour coded. So if you look at things like the door handles and the wing mirrors, everything is the same colour all the way around. As we get around the back of the car then, parking sensors are also standard on the rear of the car, and things like the rear tail lights are actually LED. This car has a wee transfer sticker along through there
because it was part of our own fleet, so we will be taking that off unless you want to leave it on, which we won't object to.
But some of the features on this car that are really cool are on the inside, so we're going to have a look around that in a little while.
So let's go for a drive in the car. Genuinely, and I'm not trying to say this because I know I am trying to sell the car, but I believe this. I think these are great crack to drive.
I really do. I always remember over the years seeing people that were in car sales or guys that had garages and all that stuff, and they always used to drive home the small car. I was just wondering, why don't they drive home the big car? The small cars are actually fun to drive. What I really like about the Jazz is this 100 horsepower engine, because compared to some of the other cars that are in this segment, and they're cars we actually sell ourselves, this one is such an eager engine. For example, if we go to drive on first gear, up into second, into third, this car is at 100 kilometers an hour so fast. It's such a nice gear change as well. That's 100 kilometers an hour.
It's even got lane change warning, so when you drift across the white line, it's actually telling you you've drifted out of your lane. And it's also got a speed zone indicator, so we're now going from a 50 into a 60. The reason I think the speed zone indicator is cool is because when you put on a speed limiter, it's actually going to try and limit your speed as you progress into a slower area. There's just a hoot to drive. The gearbox is so nice. It's a lovely small little short throw gearbox. It's such a really eager engine. Don't take my word for it, come try it yourself. So like what we're saying, there's a speed limiter in the car, but cruise control is also standard as well. The gearbox, as I was saying to you, is a really nice gearbox. Short little throws, feels lovely. And there's 6 forward gears actually. Normally in cars this size you usually get 5 gears in like a 1.2 engine or something like this. So this is 1.3 with 6 forward gears, but you can feel that accelerating up through the gears. It's fun. So let's continue on. We're going to have a look around what's going on the inside of the car. There's some really cool functionality when it comes to storage and space. The reason I say that is they're a very well thought out car. So first of all, this is the size of the boot, which I think is quite good. Down underneath there is more storage in through there for awkward little items that you want to keep out of the way and safe. So the first part of the versatility that I was talking about is let the seats down. That is a fairly damn big
load area in the back. So for that size of car, you are getting into car style van territory there. But if you're familiar with Hondas, and even if you're not, these seats have a cool little feature that is not common on cars. These are what are called the magic seats. So they have this tall mode. If there's anything really awkward and tall you want to put in the back of the car, it is a new area of storage that's so easy to access. Because if you want to let the seats back down, you literally lift the handle and drop the seat. And I think it's also worth mentioning that the doors open at a very wide right angle, so for access for people getting in and out with child seats or just generally getting around, it's very easy for access because the doors open so wide. 3 head restraints, 3 3-point safety belts, ISOFIX over here, ISOFIX over here. A strangely large amount of legroom for this size of car. That is correct. The Jazz has one of the largest amounts of legroom of any of the cars we sell in a weird way. I am 6 foot and this is how I would sit if I was behind me. Look at the amount of space. It's bizarre. Just come to sit in the car. It doesn't make sense. From the pictures it doesn't even look like it. It's just when you sit in it. It's really, really weird. But in a good way. Headroom, pretty good as well. So continuing with the theme of space. The front seat. That's right. More weird and wonderful storage ideas and space ideas continue onto the front. So what you can do is you can put this flat mode on the passenger seat, which basically means I can recline all the way in the back like this, which is super comfortable. And this is what I see in front of me. Very unusual, not in any other cars. Still comfortable. I would be very happy getting driven around like that because it's a really comfortable way to travel. So sitting in the car, front and rear electrics, electric folding mirrors. Just over to my right hand side then, I'm going to have things like a drinks holder. I'm going to have my controls for parking sensors and my lane change warning. Traction control as well. I'm going to have a driver's airbag, I'm going to have a curtain airbag, I'm going to have a curtain airbag, I'm going to have curtain airbag, I'm going to have side airbag, I'm going to have front airbag. There's anti-lock brakes, there's a collision mitigation, there's emergency brake distribution, there's emergency brake assist, there's steel bars in all the doors for side impact protection. It's a really safe car. Let's not forget, we also have these anti-whiplash head restraints. In terms of what you're going to see in front of you then, you have this big clock with a revolution counter over through here, and then in through here we have our trip meter, which from here we manipulate to give us information such as average speed, fuel efficiency, how much fuel is left in the tank and so forth, and even things like the speed sign recognition we talked about. Moving down off through here then we have our cruise control with speed limiter, and the wipers are automated from here. On the left hand side then the lights are automated from there. We've controls for the radio and then Bluetooth controls in through here. In through the centre armrest there is a USB connector, there is drinks holders over through here, and then down in through the bottom here we've also got HDMI and another USB connector and a 12-volt outlet. Heating has air conditioning, and then the rear window also demists the wing mirrors. Because it's an ES model then we have things like our touch and swipe, Android powered, but it works obviously with Apple and all that kind of stuff as well. Honda Connect unit, it's even got things like an internet browser. So here's the thing, if you're looking for a Jazz, then fine, you know what a Jazz is. However, if you are somebody that's looking for a car that's not too big, but it's got enough storage space, and it's reliable, and it's easy to run, and it's very, very practical and well thought out, and you want something that's a little bit different than from what everyone else has, and if you want a car that is less than 20,000 euros with a 192 number plate, then this particular car might actually be worth considering, because it's one of those cars that it is surprisingly large when you get into it. Overall, as we were saying, lots of good features on the car. Come try it yourself. Brian is my name, 086 843 1945. If you want information, give us a shout, and hopefully this car is of interest, and hopefully the video has been useful, and thank you for taking time to watch.